ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om everybody. So today we are on the last four verses of chapter 10, 38. We start with दण्डो दमयतामस्मि नीतिरस्मि जिगीषतां मौनं चैवास्मि गुह्यानां ज्ञानं ज्ञानवतामहम्. Among punishers, I am the scepter. I don't know what the pronunciation is right. Scepter, I think it is. Among those who seek victory, I am statesmanship. And also among secrets, I am silence, and I am the knowledge among knowers. Not much. The scepter, like Gurudev himself has written, the king wields the scepter, and he's the lawmaker and the punisher, right? So Bhagavan is just saying, I'm ultimately punishment you can take as karma phala. So the ultimate karma phala data is Bhagwan only, Ishvara, and therefore he says, I am the one that is the giver of all results. So if it is a punishment, we think it as a punishment. God actually, they say, gives us sorrow. You know, when sorrow comes, we think, oh, somebody is punishing me for something that I did. He actually gives us sorrows for us to evolve, to turn towards him. That's why Kunti, she's the one that has said that, give me sorrows only, Bhagwan. Then that way I will be constantly thinking about you. Because in happiness, we don't think of him. In sorrows, we do. So he's the Faladata. That's the only thing. Among those who seek victory, I'm the statesmanship. So those who are statesmanship, victory means, the winning streak or the winning is because of him. That is the idea. That if anybody wants to win something, then it is because victory is because of him. And secrets, I'm silence. Because how do you keep a secret is by remaining silent. Also, silence is the substratum of sound. So he says, I'm the substratum, right, of that sound. And we are constantly talking and we want sounds and all that. This is, I'm the substratum. And knowledge among the knowers. So the knowledge is this Adhyatma Vidya. Actually, in one of the previous verses also he said, among knowledges, I'm Adhyatma Vidya. I'm the knowledge of the self. So the knowledge is him, because once you have knowledge, you become Brahman. Now, knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. We have seen that. So, that is what he's saying here, the knowledge among the knowers. So if they have any, in 7 also he said, I'm the strength among the strong. I'm the intelligence in the intellect. So idea is that if I am intelligent, if I am knowledgeable, even whether it is the material world or the spiritual world, think of him. That's the idea. This whole chapter is about how to think of him under all circumstances. In whatever that I look at, how to think of him. So if you're thinking, oh, I had this knowledge and I did this well, that knowledge is coming from him. That is what he's saying. The last 4 verses are very, very simple. Yacchapi sarvabhutanam bijam tadaham arjuna na tadasti vina yasya maya bhutam characharam. And whatsoever is the seed of all beings, that also am I, O Arjuna. There is no being, whether moving or unmoving, that can exist without me. This seed, this is one thing we should understand here is when he says seed, it is not like he's saying I'm the seed. He's saying I'm the potentiality in that seed for which gives it the power to germinate. Because there are many seeds, there are many this thing. And I was thinking that this, like we see in cases of IVF, right? People think, I did IVF and I got a child. But it is not that simple ultimately. It, you have to understand the hand of God in there, because not everyone who does IVF gets pregnant, or they attempt so many times and maybe only one might work. That's what young people forget. They say, I do. It's become like a fashion now, especially among the rich. The girls are not getting married and then they. Anyway, that is what the thought came to me. So you have to understand that if I did get pregnant, maybe I did IVF and I got, but still I have to thank the Lord, because I may not have gotten, there's so many, everybody would have gone and done it, right? So that is what he says. I'm the potentiality in that seed to grow. That is what I am. Not like a mango seed, or that, not physically the seed, but that is the meaning here. And there is no being, whether moving or unmoving, that can exist without me. Just this morning, we saw this verse in Atma Bodh. Atma, Atma Bodh, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says that there is nothing in this world which is not Atma. And the example given there was clay and clay pots. And the pot cannot exist without the clay. So I told you the three rules. There cannot be an effect without a cause. If there is an effect, there has to be a cause. If the effect is nothing but a different form of the cause, if you remove the cause from the effect cannot remain. So here, moving or unmoving, chara achara, moving, unmoving, that can exist without the existence principle. How can anything exist? That's why in this world we always say this is a book, this is a cup, this is a computer, this is I am, you are. So that amness, the are, that is what he is. And without that, how do I exist? And nothing in this world we experience as I am not, you are not, book is not, nothing is like, even in that not, there is the isness. So in that absence also the presence is there. Like there is the computer, I here consciousness is there. Okay, if I say existence principle is there in this computer in front of me, this screen, and we cannot think that there's no consciousness between me and the screen, because I'm saying there is nothing between me and the screen. So that isness is there in the nothingness. That is to be understood. That even the absence is supported by that existence principle. And therefore he says that there is not anything, whether it is moving, sentient, unmoving, insentient, which can exist without me. The stone is existing, right? So the existence, as the existence principle, Bhagwan is there in every, that's why we worship the stone, we worship tree, we worship everybody, because we are worshiping the principle of existence. We are not worshiping the form. What we are actually worshipping is the principle of existence. And if that principle of existence we see in the universe, which this morning's verse is same thing, with Jnanavan Yogi, the one who has realized, who is a realized master, sees that principle alone, and therefore he doesn't see the manyness. And the seeing is not by the fleshy eye, it is by the Jnana Chakshu, the eye of intellect. So he sees only oneness in the manyness, and that is that principle of existence. That is what Bhagavan is saying here. That is what I am. The principle, I am not the form. I'm not the form. I am that existence principle behind that form. I am that who is supporting the form. I am that which is making the seed germinate. That power I am. not the seed. When he says, I am the seed, it is the power behind that seed to germinate. That power I am. That is what Bhagwan is saying. That is, so when you see the seed, you need to remember it. Seed is the vibhuti. The potentiality is the power. Form is vibhuti. The existence principle is yoga sthiti. Okay, that is how it is to be understood. नान्तोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परन्तप एष तुद्देशतः प्रोक्तो विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया. There is no end to my divine glories, O Parantapa. But this is but a brief statement by me of the particulars of my divine glories. There is no end. Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. Ananta. There is no end. Anta is end. Ananta is no end. There is no end to my glories. I don't have the time that, I mean, not me, him. We're standing on the battlefield. Arjun may have forgotten. Bhagwan cannot forget that there is an impending battle there and people are waiting to battle. People are waiting to fight. So he says there is no end. Parantapa, a name of Arjuna, scorcher of foes. I've told you he was very, very brave. There was no war that he had lost in his whole life. The people, apparently he would only like pull the string on his bow, the Gandiva, and that sound, they knew it was, they would get scared of that sound because they knew it belonged to that particular bow, Gandiva. So when they heard that sound, they knew Arjuna is somewhere close by and they would start shaking. That was his prowess. So that's why Parantapa. But this is just a brief statement he gave in 42 verses. So this is just a brief statement of my glories. Already in the beginning of the chapter, he said, you shouldn't be bothered. Whatever you see, beginning, middle, and end is me. For us, that is the simplest way. There's no need to remember all the stories that I've told you. If you can only remember him in anything, you understand, like anything, anything happens, you just say thank you. Think of the Lord. That's the simplest thing of putting this chapter into practice. That whole chapter can boil down to just that much. Thank you, Lord. And if you've given me the sorrow, then okay, then you are the one that is going to give me the strength to bear it as well. Both these things should be remembered. एतत् विभूतिमस्तत्त्वं श्रीमद्दूर्जितमेव वा तत्तद्देवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजोंश संभवम्. Whatever that is glorious, prosperous, or powerful in any being, that know you to be a manifestation of a part of my splendor, not even his entire splendor. So whatever goodness we see, whatever strength, intelligence, anything good that we see, that is him. And this Mama Tejosh Ansha Sambhavam, in Purusha Sukta, Bhagwan has said that this entire universe that you see, and when sees, it's not just what is within my, so we've got telescopes, powerful telescopes where we see the stars and the galaxies, and now they say there are 1,000 suns, there are many more suns, all whatever is perceived, inferred also is there in that. So we infer that there are many suns. So if there are many suns, there must be many galaxies, or there are many planets, this, that, whatever. He says that is only 1/4 of me, that whole thing. So imagine how much it's beyond imagination. We cannot imagine. So that is what Purusha, that's what he's saying. Just a part of my splendor, part. In Purushokta, he says 1/4. 1/4 is whatever that you can perceive. So it's not just this, not all our planetary system. Whatever planetary systems may be out there, if there are 1,000 suns or who knows, black hole, the galaxies, the stars, whatever we can see and whatever we can infer, that is only 1/4 of his manifestation. So imagine how big he is. That's his greatness. Then अथवा बहुनैतेन किं ज्ञातेन तवार्जुन विष्टभ्याहमिदं कृत्स्नम् एकांशेन स्थितो जगत. But of what avail to thee is the knowledge of all these details? All these details, right from verse 1 to verse 40. O Arjuna, I exist supporting this whole world by one part of myself. So it's a quarter, the Shangulam. So, see, we have to remember him as a principle. Huh? God, Brahman, is a principle only, it is not form. And that principle is of existence, consciousness, and bliss. And we are the proof of that. I am, each one of us is the proof of that. Because I am, I exist. So that is the existence principle. And I know that I'm existing as well. That's the consciousness principle. And once these two are there, it is infinity. That means what? I am supporting, and then it is bliss. Bliss is what I call happiness is opposite of sorrow. Bliss is what is neither opposed to happiness nor opposed to sorrow. Bliss is what is supporting both happiness and sorrow. That's how it's to be understood. Existence is that which is supporting what I know as well as what I don't know. So if you can remember, if we can remember this principle, we got it made. We got it made. The easy way to remember is basically anything that happens in our life, make sure to bring God in there. Whichever way you can, you bring God in there. Okay. So this, I'm going to read the last and then the first verse, and then if there are any questions about anything, we can talk. We finished early today, which is good. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supaniषत्सु Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vibhuti Yogo Nama Dashamodhyayaha. श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया. हरि ओम्. The reason we chant the first verse, Gurudev has given us this instruction, is to know that just because we ended the chapter doesn't mean our studies are ending there. So the studies continue to indicate that we always read the first verse of the chapter after we complete the chapter. By God's grace, Puja Gurudev's blessings, we have completed another chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the most holy text. Are there any questions? We have time today, so if there is anything that anybody would like to know or ask, this is your chance.